Been better.
Welcome back to Two Dudes Watch Cartoons, the podcast where two dudes, that is us, watch cartoons. My name is Evan.
And my name is Alex, and today we're watching whatever we want, which the only thing we want to watch is the new Superman movie. And we're doing something a little different because we're coming to you before seeing the movie with our live thoughts and expectations. And then at one point in here, we might take a break. I don't know if it's going to pick up immediately. We're just going to come back and be like, we've seen the movie now.
Yeah, today is Tuesday, July 8th, the Tuesday before opening weekend. I think Rotten Tomatoes, I don't know if you've seen any of them, but
No, I haven't. Tell me.
Have started trickling in.
Oh my God, I'm scared. Tell me.
Do you
my God. Yeah, I want to know. We got it. I mean, yeah.
I think it's currently at 86%.
86% is just what I need. That's just what I need. Because to me, that means it's probably a 90, and 90 and above is good.
So Superman, directed by James Gunn. This is the first entirely DCU entry in the new cinematic universe. The DCEU is officially gone and over with. Moment of silence for Snyderverse fans, such as ourselves.
You know what, though? Ready for this? We're on this podcast very notably Snyder fans. We like the direction. We recognize it was different. We like the direction at times. I don't know I want to call myself a Snyder fan anymore. I've been seeing some of them online, bro, and I don't think I can associate with them.
Yeah, I think it's devolved into its own form of the manosphere in some ways, where people just say stuff to rage bait. I guess the movies continued after 2017, but it really died. I mean, we've made the argument that it died when it began, but it really died after Justice League sort of came out in 2017 to little or no fanfare and really struggled to survive. And so at this point, it's the year 2025. It has been, excluding the Batman 2022, Matt Reeves' The Batman, and it has been more than a decade since DC has had a certified hit.
Oh, interesting.
Anything you could remotely call a hit. Would you agree or disagree?
Yeah. I mean, The Flash was not considered a hit. I would say
Wonder Woman 2016?
No, the second one was universally banned, I feel like.
Yeah, but it's in the last decade, maybe.
So, I mean, the last time we saw Superman on our screens was Black Adam. When was he on our screen before that?
2017, yeah.
So Zack Snyder's cut came in 2021.
Sure, yeah. There was a pretend cameo of that iteration of Superman at the end of Shazam. Wasn't Henry Cavill.
Yeah, but that was still before. So it's been a while since we've actually gotten Superman. Everyone's always like, oh, we just got Superman. But like Man of Steel was
in his own
forever
movie.
ago.
2013, Henry Cavill's is when Henry Cavill's Man of Steel, directed by Zack Snyder, came out.
And then Batman vs. Superman was 2015?
2016.
Something like that.
But even before that, Brandon Routh in the early 2000s, opposite Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor. I think that was 2009. One hit wonder as
that was 2009. That's actually crazy.
Yeah,
because that's like Dark Knight. That's Iron Man is out. That movie feels more dated to me. But yeah, you're probably
maybe it's
right.
early. Maybe it's 2006. But
either way, that's still interesting. So I guess what we're here to do is talk. I mean, it sounds so lame to say expectations, but let's talk through, I guess, like pre-movie press things.
The
you've
meta
seen.
of it all.
So first that I wanted to address is the Snyder fans have been so annoying online. Everything I see about them, they're criticizing every little thing.
Have you seen?
Whoo!
There's apparently Kellyanne Conway has been on Fox News talking about it, and like what do they call it in the bottom third?
The cryon.
Whatever that. Yeah.
The little headline
is super woke.
Superman goes. So I was going to get to this, but we might as well jump in. We can't have a podcast that doesn't get political around here, I guess.
Mm-mm.
A lot of people are mad that James Gunn said, yeah, Superman is an immigrant. Like,
An illegal one at that.
oh, yeah, that's what he says he is an illegal immigrant.
Mm-hmm.
He's not wrong in any way, shape, or form.
And and this is, if we really want to get into it, this is where it just becomes so apparent that everything in right-leaning content is all about manufacturing outrage.
Yeah.
Because this is the Superman character. Since Superman is the original superhero, 1938, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster created this comic strip. And in the early comic strips, he fought for the poor. He was fighting corrupt politicians. He didn't have flight superpowers back then, but like
I actually saw a really interesting fact that I think plays into this brilliantly. I was going to save for later, but they actually credit Superman with helping stop the normalization of the KKK in the South. They would play the Superman cartoons on the what do you call them? Radio shows. I wanted to call them cartoons, but they're not cartoons on the radio. That's so interesting to think about that. It was just a voice. But so he was fighting the KKK, and it slowly put pressure on like local police enforcement for people to be like, hey, those are bad guys. You guys got to be stopping them. And it slowly rid just like the normalization of the KKK walking through the streets in the South. That's Superman. Like, that's what people don't understand is like, that is Superman to the T.
And it's odd that in this day and age it feels...
Is it odd?
That
everything's politicized.
People
you know what I wish, though?
It's controversial.
You know what I wish?
Yeah.
I wish James Gunn had just let them all go see it first. And then, like, let the point seep in and, like, say something later. Does that make sense?
But
you don't think it would have changed
they were never
anything?
They were never going to let it seep in. You know what I mean?
Sure.
The whole point of that sphere of entertainment is to
Here's my
create
worry.
this
Since we're talking about it, we've discussed our two. I'm worried the Snyder Bros are going to review bomb it, and now I'm worried MAGA's going to review bomb it.
I mean, they both will. But this is where the question comes in. Were they ever going to watch it to begin with? I feel like a lot of Snyderverse,
no. Snyderverse, I feel like, is out there. Yeah.
I would hypothesize a lot of that is just troll farms.
I was gonna say posturing, but yeah, they're just rage baiting. It's just become popular on the internet.
I think its footprint on the internet is much larger than any sizable audience.
Interesting
demographic. You know, what
interesting. I mean? That audience. I want to agree with you, but they did campaign to get the Snyder Cut released. They did do the impossible at one point, and I think that's why they feel so emboldened and like brash. Is they were like, our harsh criticism worked once before, it's going to work again. But, like, come on.
Where do your expectations sit with this movie? Politics aside, as a fan.
Yeah. As a fan.
What is your mood?
We've talked about this. I'm a Batman guy. The Dark Knight is probably my favorite movie of all time. Just watch The Batman again, though, which, goddamn, it's hard. It's so fucking good. But so, I've always felt like you were my Superman, like, representative. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? You were always fighting for him. And I will be honest. I feel I did not fully understand and appreciate Superman until My Adventures with Superman.
Oh.
I feel like watching that, the things you've been telling me over the years really clicked. And I was like, oh, I totally see how Superman's story can and should be interesting. You know what I mean? I fell into one of those things that, like, Superman is hard to write. And I think I just let Zack Snyder kind of trick me into that. You know what I mean? Like, not that Zack Snyder, I just think Zack Snyder took a different approach. Zack Snyder clearly was very interested in the fact that Superman is a godlike being on Earth. That is fine if that's the direction he wanted to take it. He really focused on it. What I have come to realize and love is that the things that make Superman so heroic and awesome to watch is his human side. And so it's those decisions that he makes as a human of Earth, human air quotes. And I feel like everything I've seen of the trailer so far, James Gunn really understands that. And it feels like he's going to deliver on that. I'm going to be honest. My expectations are really high. The last, even back to Scooby-Doo, I feel like James Gunn understands source material and storytelling. And he can combine the two in such a great, beautiful narrative that is interesting and fun to watch, where I'm not worried about this being a recycled Superman story that we've seen before.
All fair points. And I want to circle back to that sort of recycled themes bit. But I agree with you that James Gunn does feel like the right filmmaker for the moment for what more than DC, just comic book movies in general need right now is translating the nerd stuff for a blockbuster audience. This is the man that was able to turn Guardians of the Galaxy, a
Household
comic
name.
book team into a household name. I was not familiar with those characters prior to that.
We went and saw it probably opening weekend, though.
And even the later movie, I didn't love. I think Guardians of the Galaxy 1 was great. They're all pretty good movies. I didn't.
What are you about to say about?
I'm just saying I wasn't like as diehard of a fan as you were. But
Wait, okay, you could say that about 2. Are you about to say 3 wasn't good?
I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying in a non-derogatory way, in a non-disparaging way, James Gunn is a blockbuster movie maker. You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
He's not going to try and make this super highbrow. And I think in his new role as like the co-CEO of DC Films, I don't know. He doesn't seem to be sweating the pressure, but maybe that's all, false bravado. I don't know. I just have faith in his ability to make something entertaining.
He doesn't
Scooby-Doo
seem
movies,
nervous at all, does he?
Yeah. Scooby-Doo movies were entertaining. They were, critically panned or whatever, but like they were good. These are pieces of mass entertainment. And I think that's something we lose sight of in the superhero movie genre. But this brings me to my next question, which is like more than just DC films. Comic book movies in general are just at this inflection point where I would contend that they've fallen out of the mainstream. Marvel has not had a verifiable hit since Spider-Man, far whatever.
Yeah, honestly, sure. If you do it by Marvel standards, yeah, probably since Spider-Man.
Film entries. Some of their TV stuff has been good, some not. Thunderbolts I haven't seen yet. But
Thunderbolts was good, but it also
received
didn't.
Well.
Yeah, but it didn't get the Spider-Man. Like Spider-Man is the closest they have come to like an Endgame moment or like an Infinity War Endgame moment post that part of the MCU.
But what's the thing? I feel like that was the monkey's paw.
You know what though? Deadpool and Wolverine was a huge hit.
Yeah, did that get up to $1 billion? I think it did.
I think it did when all's said and done.
Yeah, that was entertaining.
I liked Deadpool and Wolverine. I'll be honest, I really liked it. So
it created a sense of nostalgia in me. I was like, wait, I don't like these movies.
When they played at the end the Blink or the Green Day song, and it was like all the bloopers from the Foxverse. I was like, shit, dude, I'm sad that the Foxverse is over. I was like, they got me good here.
Yeah.
But so no. I get what you're saying. You're really talking about this inflection point where Marvel movies were a thing that like all of the family was going together to see. That like people were going on first dates to see. Yeah. Now it's just the diehard fans. It's the people really sticking with it. And I would say they have started veering, specifically Marvel, from what we've seen. They have movies that swerve into just the slop category. And I think that's honestly more the issue than anything, is where Marvel before was their worst movie was still serviceable. Where now their worst movie is like, oh my God, what am I watching? You know what I mean?
And this follows us both watching a movie we had sort of high hopes for, Captain America: Brave New World, which was just a bad action movie. It's more of, if you watch Falcon and whatever it's called,
Winter Soldier. Yeah.
Just wasn't a great continuation.
That was a big letdown.
Ended with the classic anime trope of friendship wins in the end.
How else you beat Red Hulk? That's the problem, is I knew that it had to. I was hoping he'd actually say like, "Whoa, big fella, sun's getting low here." I was like low key hoping for that moment. If I'm being honest, I would have been like, "Wow, what a throwback."
But so.
I found myself being that annoying Marvel fan during it. Last thing I'll say on it was, I was like, where's the actual Hulk? They didn't call him in. This would be a perfect fight for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But is he off on
Couldn't tell you.
Planet Hulk?
I don't know. No, because he was teaching Jen things not that long ago.
That's true. Fair. Yeah, that is a good point.
I think part of it is MCU was on top for so long. The DCU, EU was in the shitter for so long I think what has people so excited is if done properly, we could see a full intersection.
What do you mean? Expand. Elaborate.
Where if Marvel keeps going on the same track that they're going, by comparison, DC movies could look just like
the tables literally
out of the tables are turning. The turntables have turned.
That was what 2022 was for the Batman. Watching that, so I went and saw that, and I think that was in March of that year, I believe.
Yep.
And Spider-Man, I will forever hate
Don't.
this movie. Spider-Man: Far From Home was still playing in theaters 3 months later. A sign of the times.
You need to rewatch it. You need to rewatch it.
I've watched it since. I've watched it twice. I watched it in theaters.
You've become such a hater.
I will stand. I'm a staunch hater of what deserves to be.
You're not, is the thing. You're just not.
I
It's
have
like
my
me with
qualms,
my
but-
Spider-Verse hate. We become haters by comparison.
Yes, but I think it's a reminder of what the Batman was a reminder of the hope I felt, the potential I saw in the DCEU when Man of Steel first came out. It delivered. It was trying at something different than what has quickly turned into superhero slop. Never got off the ground, but that's a discussion for another time.
But while we're talking about the Superman thing, I just think it's so interesting that Superman himself represents hope. And just if you look at the meta, the genre,
corny. Yeah,
it feels corny. If you had made this movie 10 years ago and it was all focused on that, I'm telling you, everyone would have been like, cornball.
Okay, and granted, I haven't seen this movie, but 10 years ago, 12 years, 2013, Man of Steel, a superhero emerges with godlike powers. He's navigating his geopolitical responsibilities. We see the clip of Rachel Brosnahan grilling David Corenswet as Superman, Clark Kent.
So good.
About how he can't just act unilaterally without authority, which is a line from Batman vs Superman. I think the Granny's Peach Tea character says it.
She does.
So he intervenes in wars and acts,
people were gonna die.
Zack Snyder did attempt this. His tone was a little more grounded, but and again, I haven't seen the movie, but this is going to be maybe a more lighthearted spin, a more quippy
Look, I think the thing is Zack Snyder
understood.
He understood, but his Superman never stepped up and was like, he just his Superman, which in respect to the wanting to be like a godlike figure, was very less is more. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It was
isolated.
He was isolated. He was like, I don't want to say this because this is not exactly how he handled it, but it was it's the right thing to do, so deal with it. I'm doing it either way. You know what I mean? Where this Superman seems to be struggling with that conflict from what we've seen. Yeah. We're all speculating right now. We should
all speculating.
All speculation.
Yeah. We could talk about Snyderverse forever.
But that's the problem is that's what it is to compare to. So let's rein it back in. Let's talk. We talked a little bit about James Gunn, but so let's just talk trailer. That first, what excites you? Because that first scene that we've already talked about, Rachel Brosnahan grilling him, that got me hooked instantly. I was like, yes. When he stands up and screams, I was like, let's go.
Their chemistry's palpable. Superman is a meathead.
Yeah.
And he goes, hey, eyes up here.
Eyes up
or
here.
Whatever. And he shoots off. That was fun. We get glimpses of the Justice Society. Nathan Fillion is Guy Gardner.
Okay,
Mr. Terrific in there. Yeah.
We're talking blockbuster.
Mm-hmm.
Is it smart that he seems to be really dropping us in?
I think so.
Me and Nikki are going to go see it. So this will be the test, is if Nikki's there's all these people I didn't know or whatever. That, I will be very curious to see if that hurts or helps the movie, because there's 4 or 5 other heroes that are C-list heroes.
But I think James Gunn is smart enough to not put in a scene where Clark Kent is digging through MacBook folders on his computer with well-designed logos for each hero, watching found footage. You know what I mean? I don't think he's going to dwell on the origin. I think it'll be a passing detail. I believe those characters
I don't think he needs, let me be clear, I don't think it needs it. Mm-hmm. I am curious because he is trying to reach a more broader audience, a blockbuster audience. I'm curious to see what they think about it. I already know all the characters that are listed. You know what I mean? I don't need... They mean nothing to me.
This is your dream if you watch...
This is my dream. Metamorpho?
Series... Oh, that's what got my rocks up.
What? Yeah, what?
Played by the guy who's in Barry. I forget his name.
Yeah. We love him.
Oh, can I give you my theory on that?
Please.
On that scene. So
What scene?
So there's a couple scenes of Metamorpho in the prison with him.
Yeah.
And in some stills, it's shown that he has like a green rock hand. So the speculation is that
He turns into kryptonite.
he turns it into kryptonite. But so like Metamorpho's in that cuck chair with him in the prison cell. He's got the kryptonite hand. So I think what happens in that scene is that Superman talks to Metamorpho, gets him on his side, relates to him as a human being, understands his pain, and Metamorpho then uses his powers to turn into the source of yellow light. We see bright lights in that prison scene later, which enables Superman to break free of
Maybe.
of
Maybe.
prison.
I love it. I don't. Okay.
I'm putting money on it. That's it.
Money on
James
it,
Gunn,
he
hire me.
says.
I can write for you.
Okay. Look, we are coming up here on like 30 minutes. We have a whole other half of the podcast to do.
I know.
So let's wrap up. Did you say your favorite thing from the trailer yet? Or trailers? Yeah.
Yeah, I think just being thrown into the world, getting to see him interacting with
think
all
that's
these
the
like
right
silver
call before seeing.
all these silver age elements, like the robots, crypto, like the sort of high sci-fi fantasy.
We haven't even
elements
touched
of
on
it.
crypto. We all know we're gonna
There's
fucking
so much.
love crypto.
Yeah.
Okay. I think then to sort of wrap this up, we should. I didn't fully before when I started this sentence. I didn't even finish.
There was a thought I wanted to come back to, which
Please.
is that at this delicate point in comic book movies, it's interesting that we are so much is riding on the original superhero.
Oh,
The one that started it all. And in other ways, on the other side of the aisle, Marvel has their Fantastic Four movie, which is their first
family.
I think Stan Lee's first strip.
Yeah.
There might have been some comics in the 40s, but that Fantastic Four was really what set Marvel off on their trajectory back in the day. So I think it points to what I hope is this next era of superhero movies, which is like less is more.
let's bring it back to the classics, the basics. Like I'm not saying we.
Not expansion for expansion's sake.
Oh, couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
That has been our issue with Marvel. And you know what? In hindsight's 2020, I think the Disney Plus mandate really ruined a lot of the branding because it was right after Endgame. You know what I mean? They have to start doing a lot of these things and they have to start pumping them out. Mm-hmm. I think that expansion for the sake of expansion has hurt the medium in very bad ways. And I love like what you're saying is if anyone can save it, it's Superman.
I think there's a little bit of acceptance as an audience that the core audience demographic needs to come to terms with this. Like nerd stuff is not in the mainstream anymore. There's a good 15. We had a good
We had a
15
great
years.
run.
And it's okay to not get so defensive. These movies can be bad. A lot of them have been bad. So I'm excited for entertainment.
Well
You know
said.
what I mean? Not for
Me
fan
too.
service. Man, I'm tempering my expectations. I hope I walk away entertained. Maybe it won't be my favorite movie ever. Maybe I won't love it as much as the Batman. But I am
Because you love
so
Man of
happy.
Steel. To me, that's going to be the benchmark for you is how it matches to Man of Steel.
Yeah.
I'm also curious what you think once it's all said and done. I know they're not doing this, but do we think these him and Pattinson could work well together? I just see it happening. If I'm being honest,
That could
I
be fun
really
chemistry.
see it happening.
Yeah. I don't know how Matt Reeves' world would fit into it, but
I think they would just bring Pattinson over eventually after he's done with Matt Reeves. I think they give Matt Reeves a trilogy, and then they say, "Hey, do you want to keep playing him?" And he says, "Yeah."
sure. So other news for more casual listeners and fans of comic book movies, Matt Reeves has finally turned in his completed script for the Batman 2. So there's long a concern
That it wasn't
that
done.
it wasn't delivered, that it was dead on arrival, but it has been turned in. It has not been kiboshed yet.
Hell yeah. Well, we'll see you on the other side. I think I have a feeling this is just going to pick up the podcast and we're going to be like, we've seen it now, but not yet. Not at this moment. We still have not. I'll see you on the other side.
See you on the other side. Hopefully this is not like I got a 10:15 showing for Thursday evening. No.
Oh my God, Evan!
Evening. It's
Drink
late.
some sugar or something before
I
you
know.
go. I know you. I know you. I love you. Please, just.
I'll try not to fall asleep
Why 10:15?
because I want to put my kid to bed, but I also want to watch this movie, and then I'm going to be gone for the whole weekend. So I don't.
No, I
don't
get
wanna
that.
go-
I get that.
I don't want to go the whole weekend without watching
I get that.
it.
I get that. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm excited. Woo!
So that'll do it for this portion of this episode of Two Dudes Watch Cartoons. We'll see you on the other side. Pause the episode here if you haven't seen Superman. It is just called Superman.
It's just called Superman.
It's just, wow. What a concept.
Not the Superman.
We'll catch you next time. I don't know how to end this.
It's not ending. It's just we're gonna be like, we're back. I don't have a car at the moment, so I'm getting a lot of things delivered to my house. Marty has made it so easy because not only are they fast and efficient, but they're the cheapest option out there by far.
I get these matcha lattes that retail for like $45 for a 12-pack. And I've never bought it full price. I get it on Marty for $15. Marty's woman-owned, sustainable, socially conscious, and eco-friendly. What they do is they buy up surplus inventory from the top brands that you love, and they sell it to you at a lower price, so you save food waste and you save money.
That was my first question, was how do they get these things so cheap? But they have a model, and it's passing savings on to you. They got hundreds of items, fast shipping, no subscriptions needed, and you can save on all the great food that you love. We do have a discount code when you go to marty.com/2dudeswatchcartoons, all one word.
TWO, Dudes Watch
TWO, 2 Dudes Watch Cartoons, all one word. You can save $5 off your order.
Go to marty.com/2dudeswatchcartoons at our link in bio, or just plug in the promo code 2dudeswatchcartoons. That's TWO, Dudes Watch Cartoons. Thanks for supporting the pod. Go get yourself some delicious snacks. Alex, go figure out the car situation. I don't know what's going on.
I don't need to with Marty.
Back to the episode.
Welcome back to this.
Welcome
half.
back? Yeah.
Yeah. Of Two Dudes Watch whatever they want.
We're back.
Before
We're
the
changed.
break, you were changed. Before the break, we were going over our expectations, hopes, and fears, talking about all the lead up, the context, the meta.
I don't even remember what I said.
Neither do I.
So that was so forever ago. Whew. I am so excited to get into this with you.
Yeah.
First and foremost, let's talk numbs. This is interesting. When we started the podcast, we had nothing. It is shot on a budget of $250 million. And it has already made $217 million as of this recording on Sunday night.
According to Wikipedia, the budget was $225. So the gap to making back its budget is even smaller than what you had stated. Yeah, and we're recording this Sunday, July 13th. So the tail end of opening weekend. Runtime of 129 minutes.
That's 2 hours and 9 minutes. Oh,
chef's kiss.
Perfect
It
amount
was the
of time.
perfect length. It was the perfect
length.
length.
And you know why it was the perfect length? You want to know why?
Because they skipped origin story.
Let's dive right into
There's
the
so
podcast,
much.
my friend. Let's dive right in.
As it stands at the tail end of opening weekend, 82% fresh critic score on the tomato meter, 93% audience score. So 82% puts it at, I believe, the third highest Rotten Tomatoes score of any Superman film, behind the Donner films, Superman 1 and 2.
Gotcha. I don't give this is a win for me, Rotten Tomatoes wise, because I was so scared of the Snyderverse review bomb, of the MAGA review bomb. This is great news. I'm speechless. I actually didn't look at the tomato meter before coming on.
There's no impact, at least.
No visible impact.
They're all talk. Have you seen Ben Shapiro's?
Yeah. What is this
reaction
thing?
to the poster?
You know it's going to be good when Ben Shapiro hates it. You know it's going to be good when Ben Shapiro hates it.
Yeah. Initial thoughts before getting to first reactions. I mean, spoiler alert to my review of the movie. It was fucking awesome. It was great.
I loved it. Yeah. I think the film did so many things correct. Like, just at every decision point there was, I feel like they made the right decision. And you just cannot say that, one, about superhero movies in today's day and age, or about any movie in today's day and age, where I'm going to come in here and like be logical and level-headed. Like, but like, it's going to sound like I'm just like glazing it the whole time, because I think this was phenomenal from start to finish. I think, and let's get into your first point. This was not a Superman origin story. James Gunn plopped us into an established DC universe and said, here is a Superman story.
And what did you think of the opening crawl, so to speak, the Star Wars crawl?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I fucking loved it. I'll be honest, it doesn't really come into my mind when trying to set up a movie, because really only Star Wars has, I feel like, there's other movies for sure, but like, think of how much James Gunn dumped in those 5-6 lines of dialogue that has set up this movie, has set up his universe, that's set up, how do I describe this? Marvel from the beginning, we've basically, with basic exceptions of Captain America and Captain Marvel, it is told in a chronological storyline. James Gunn has just given himself 300 years to be like, oh no, this was 100 years before that Superman story.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I cannot, this is the first decision where I was like, this is brilliant. This is just what we need. We don't need another origin story. We don't want that.
You know what I think it circumvents is the
random
the run up to the suit up moment that happens in every origin story and every superhero TV. It's why you get, you don't see Charlie Cox in the red Daredevil suit in season 3 until the end of the thing, or whatever. You know what I mean?
Let's be clear. When they were doing that in the moment, it was fun and fresh and exciting, and we were like, oh, that's cool. But now they've done it it's the formula.
We've had 20 years of this movie. Of
this genre,
you know what I mean?
Yes. And so this was so refreshing to just be I don't even want to say trust your audience, because he hit everything you need to know. It's not like there's things that are missing. I have what I would consider almost a know nothing audience in my wife Nikki. She came and saw it with me. She loved it. We both loved it. We've been talking about it for days. The themes, the moments, it's funny, it's heartfelt, it's action-packed, it's emotional, it's everything you want in a fucking movie, and it's everything you want in a Superman movie.
Oh, yeah. I think the other genius, maybe, I don't want to sound like I'm glazing James Gunn, but what I loved...
It's hard, yeah.
What I loved is that the trailers, everything we see in the trailers is the first 2 minutes of the movie. It's just like we don't know anything.
I was gagged. The latest thing they showed us was a couple scenes of the final war, but very little and out of context. I think one of the funniest things is people were really mad online about the scene of Superman, which, this is so funny, he was putting on his boots in this photo to go face that giant dimensional imp we see.
Yes.
In that scene, he's taking off his boots, and it's about to be straight just dialogue. I cannot believe how the people that were mad about the trailer, seeing that in the trailer, how stupid they must fucking feel.
Yeah.
That was one of my things too. I literally, 5 minutes into the movie, I go, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like we've seen almost every clip from the trailer. This is crazy.
Him crash landing into the Arctic is what happens immediately after the opening crawl. And it's like, oh, I thought that would have been, a third act thing.
Back to the crawl. Yeah, that seems like an end, battle thing that he had shown us, and it's the opening moment. But back to the crawl and why it was so good. The rule of threes was here, but in a weird way. I really liked it. It was 3 centuries ago, decades ago, and it gets closer and closer, and you catch on quickly, oh, this is gonna catch us up to now. It's 3 months ago, 3 weeks ago, 3 minutes ago, Superman lost his first fight. And I was like, oh, damn. I was in it from that moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hard. There's so much.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to be, I don't want to, critical that you would have changed, expectations, different? Let's get those out of the way, because, I don't think we'll spend too much time, being honest.
It's not a perfect movie. I will say that. It is James Gunn. It's James Gunn evolved in a way, but also watered down is not the right phrase, but for the masses, which is a good thing. It's not a sophisticated movie. It is just a very simplistic story about good versus evil and the ongoing struggle. And I think that's what works. This is I'm going into final. Okay, maybe I need to shut up.
No, that's a critique.
You know what I mean?
am going to do the same thing you did, is where I was really nervous that dropping us in the middle of the DCU, all these characters, everything established, I was worried it was going to be jarring. It wasn't. None of it was, who's this guy? What's he doing? Like, they explained it like that. And it just showed me, and I watched this in an interview, and I think this is really a good way to surmise James Gunn's theory starting this universe. He said there used to be a day and age where seeing two comic book characters from different movies interact with each other was the novelty. That was the fun. He goes, that day and age is gone. And so what I really liked about this is, one of the things I praise about Young Justice that you hate is this just like celebrated all parts of the DC universe. This was not like in a weaker universe, whatever's mind, they're like, oh no, we need to save Hawkgirl and Green Lantern for their own movies, projects, whatever. But he was just like, no, this is the story. We needed a team that is opposite, that's a heroes, but still like opposite beliefs of Superman. And we do need Metamorpho to show like X, Y, and Z and do like, I was worried it was going to be, I was really worried it was going to be too much setting up for branching out.
It was going to be Spider-Man 3 or Amazing Spider-Man 2 when you have more characters.
This could be a self-contained one solid movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't think Marvel has that in them anymore.
No. I would agree with that. Yeah.
I wasn't critical of anything. Let's try to finish this. I think that, like, I think what you're saying is there is a little bit of clashing of James Gunn's normal style with what Superman is. And so I feel like we had to sacrifice a little of the James Gunn-isms to make it more Superman-like. But God damn it, he did it. He, like, you know what I mean? Yeah, I feel like he found the balance perfectly.
I don't say that as a criticism at all, but I think like
we just love it.
If you're like a film buff, you might walk away from this movie saying it's a popcorn feel-good movie at best. But it's at its best of popcorn feel-good movies. It's not like the most moving film for cinephiles, perhaps. But what it does exceptionally well by not giving in to nerddom and fandom's demands and just creating a good story for a broad audience, for mass appeal, essentially.
Well said. Okay, we weren't very critical. We did more praising. Should we talk about the characters one at a time?
Sure, let's do it. Let's jump in.
There's a ton of them. Do you want to start biggest to smallest to biggest?
Maybe smallest to... Let's start with Mr. Terrific. I feel like he
fun one to start with.
The goddamn show.
Scene stealer. Edi, how do I say his last name?
I don't know.
Amazing actor.
Was in...
Yeah, go ahead.
He was in X-Men First Class. He was the first one to die. Apparently, he was promised a return...
Yeah.
Brought back to life in that franchise, which never came to fruition. And so a lot of the hubbub around him is that this is sort of his redemption arc in comic book movies. But just amazing. Mr. Terrific, I only know that he's smart. I guess that's all you need to know. Sort of like a plainclothes Iron Man. Yeah, just super smart guy, but really fun to
third smartest
watch
man on Earth. Do you have any guess who the first and second are?
First is Batman, I believe.
First is Batman. I actually don't know the second off the top of my head.
Feels like a hat on a hat. You know what I mean? He's already a billionaire. He's already a secret shadow ninja. Just like maybe he doesn't also need to be the smartest man in the world. Who's number 2?
Let me look it up. I think I know it, but I want to make sure.
In DC would be the
because they have rankings.
I imagine Superman should maybe be up there.
Is it? Oh, I think it's Ray Palmer is what I'm reading here.
Okay. Yeah,
the Atom.
Okay.
And then it is Mr. Terrific. He's the third smartest man on Earth.
I love. He was just so suave, Mr. Terrific.
Mr.
Terrific, God damn it.
That was maybe the line of the movie. There was so many great lines. So many great lines, but that one was really great because the guy goes, "Oh, the code's right here. I can help you if you want. I don't need your help. I'm Mr. Terrific, God damn it." Like, that was so good. And even from the moment he showed up, Clark, once again, this is why they needed this other team. Clark, Superman, is trying to beat the big kaiju that grew, 100 feet tall or whatever. And he's like, I'm trying to get it out of here alive somehow. And Mr. Fantastic is giving him the most evil side eye.
Terrific.
Like, Mr. Terrific.
Wow. Got Marvel on the brain. Freudian
slip. Cut it out. Cut it out. Please edit me. Save me from the fans. No, just kidding. Mr. Terrific gives him the most evil side eye, which is just so funny. He's like, we're not taking this thing out of here alive, dude. We're killing this thing right now. And he goes, the hide's really tough. He goes, go for the eyes. Like, moment one, I'm telling you, he really trusted the audience. There wasn't this, oh, this is Mr. Terrific. He's the smart. They just like, here he is. He's got these T-spheres and he does all this. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, he's probably third or fourth most prominent. Okay, I guess there's Lex in there, but he's in there. He's like
I would say after Lex, he's fourth. Probably. He was really good. And I mean, he actually was he became a real pivotal part in the plot. You know what I mean? Without him, Lois couldn't have gotten him out of the pocket universe.
The pocket universe.
God, that jackass did make a pocket universe. Like, he's in such disbelief.
Yeah.
This movie, while just full on sci-fi, it said we're throwing everything at you possible. Keep
there's
up.
Kaiju. And it's such a nod to the Silver Age of Superman, where you get all the fun stuff. That's when Brainiac is first introduced. That's when you get all the different colors of kryptonite in the comics in the 50s and 60s that do weird shit. You get Bizarro for the first time. I think Supergirl probably debuted in that era as well, but that's everything we like. This is that era.
This movie really captured the feeling of the DC universe where there is like a disaster every other week. There is a giant space imp where he's just like, no, they can handle that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that to me, I was just like, oh my God, this is the DC universe I grew up watching in those cartoons where like Superman could be like, no, they can handle that. Let's talk, Lois.
He's
you know
like
what
pouting.
I mean? Yeah. And he's like, I don't want to handle that. They got it. It was like literally watching in the background a giant bat form and he's just whacking it as Clark's like, this cocoa's delicious.
Yeah.
Come on. I feel like, and this is not to dig Zack Snyder, because we liked what Zack Snyder did here, and I don't want to compare it to it the whole time, but Zack Snyder didn't have the balls to make a scene of Superman enjoying hot cocoa while a disaster's going on.
I think this is an important point, though, and one that I want to spend just a tiny bit of time talking about, is that I think what is particularly annoying about the Superman, like all the discourse around this iteration of the character and previous iterations, is that we've lost the ability, or perhaps we never had it as nerddom, to talk about movies, especially these comic book properties, these fandom properties, talk about movies separate from what you personally expected or wanted out of it. I enjoyed Zack Snyder's Man of Steel. Still do. Love that movie. It's not a great movie. Not because of the tone. Maybe the tone's not for everyone. But there are a lot of other things that make that thing a bad movie. Yeah. And so hopefully one thing we'll be able to do, I'm trying to do in this review of Superman, is that like just separate, like, I don't want to spend too much time. Maybe we'll get to it on hopeful versus like dark and gritty. Is like, yes, this movie is super positive and like, it's just very, it has a lot of conviction in the story it's telling. And maybe that's why it works, but it's also a well-crafted movie. Dialogues works, action works. Like, so I want to separate those two things a little bit. You know,
while I will shut up, I will never bring up Zack Snyder's Man of Steel again in comparison here, because that's not what this is about. But I bet you this movie had triple the amount of dialogue that movie had.
Oh, yeah.
This movie was that's one thing I loved. James Gunn, while I trust him as a director, he is a goddamn brilliant writer.
Very good. That's perhaps one of my critiques, is like there's so much happening in this movie. At points, there was, especially towards the end, sometimes I didn't fully 100% know what was going on. When he's hurtling to, when the engineer is like filling his lungs or whatever, and like he shoots off into space, and she yells something. I was like, I like kind of get what's going on. I don't know what she just yelled. Yeah, I know they're trying to kill him, but like I don't know what he's up to. Like,
no, I get what you're saying. I actually saw it twice this weekend, and I think I know I'm a fucking madman. I think the second viewing, it benefits from a second viewing. I feel like I picked up on things. So we started with Mr. Terrific. He was amazing. His T-spheres, his lines. The actor was great. And maybe the best fight scene of the movie, honestly, when he is storming
on the beach.
On the beach to go on the thing, and Rachel Brosnahan Lois is in the bubble the whole time just watching. It was fun getting it from her perspective. Just a creative choice. The music, James Gunn music, always a 10 out of 10.
Needle drop moment was
always 10 out of 10
signature.
with James. Yeah, dude.
Noah and the Whale.
I had never
fun
heard
song.
that. Excuse me, I had heard that song, but it took me like 6 years to actually find what it's called because
It's like 50, yeah, that's probably 10, 15 years old.
it's
It
old.
came
Yeah,
out.
great
It's by
song.
Noah
though.
and the Whale.
And it's called 5 Years Time. 5 Years Time.
Yeah, good song, fun song.
Great song. And then so he had that.
The Justice Gang. We
Let's
also
see.
got
Let's go into the
Hawk
rest
Girl,
of them. Hawk Girl.
Isabela Merced.
First off, love her.
She's been great.
Great. Blow it up. She was
Last
in The Last of Us
season
yeah.
2.
I just found out she was
There's
Dora
an
the
alien
Explorer
movie.
in
She
the
was
live.
Dora the Explorer. Might have to go check
And I think
that
she was
out
in
now.
Madam Web.
She's been awesome in
Yeah.
everything I've seen her in.
Loved her. What did you think of this rendition of Hawk Girl? I'm assuming she's not the alien.
We don't know.
We don't know. Because they made such a big deal of Superman being an alien. I don't know. She could be.
Yeah.
But there is a version of her that's like a reincarnation of that. So, yeah.
There's Egyptian or Thanagarian.
Yeah.
So we don't
we'll
know
see.
which one it is, but hopefully we get to see more. The Justice Gang was in that Peacemaker promo thing.
They are. I have a
So
feeling they're going to
maybe
be
we'll
a
see.
connective tissue for a lot of properties. They're going to
Yeah.
spread out the three of them amongst things.
I think she is perhaps the most underserved on the team. Like Guy Gardner has his moments with
Guy
like she
Gardner's
has
got a
one
lot of moments.
standout moment.
She has
in
one
the movie.
standout moment where
But I
we
feel like-
could just talk about it where she goes,
Yeah.
"I'm not Superman," and she
And
fucking
she
drops him.
the dictator.
What a cunty, but in a good way. Like what a move. That was such a great moment because how do I phrase this? One thing that like Marvel is missing is like the only clash in ideals we've ever had is Civil War. Like you know what I'm saying? Like they built up to that, so there was the small conflicts, but like this is just so refreshing to just like have people of different like standards,
Morality
morals.
codes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's just it makes it feel more real.
This superhero world is very lived in, which is
Great way to put it.
and
Great
he
way to
doesn't have to spend a whole lot of. It's like it's this weird thing where it's like the less time he really spends world building and just saying this thing is here.
Yeah.
It just is, and we're like, okay.
Well, you know what? The more I'm thinking about this, go back to Guardians of the Galaxy 1.
Mm-hmm.
He takes the MCU off Earth and introduces everything in space. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? And he introduces the 5 Guardians and the side characters. He actually has experience doing this before. You know what I'm saying? He's better with
Yeah.
an ensemble
a big
cast.
yeah.
And you know what it is? And I think I really caught this on my second time if I'm putting on my Dan Harmon hat. It's almost like the more people that are going on a journey, they really only need like 3 beats each. And it really can fill the movie of all its stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like Superman went on a journey, Lois went on a journey, like Mr. Terrific went on a tiny journey, Lex went on a journey. So, and then we see even a tinier journey with Rex and Metamorpho. So like he's got all of these like stories on stories on stories that like intersect. It's so good. It's so good. Okay, but so last member of the Justice Gang, Guy Gardner. What did you think of Guy?
Was Nathan Fillion doing like a weird accent?
Dude,
A little bit.
a little bit. I actually, I know
what are you
this is
doing?
crazy. I think he was one of the best portrayals of his character because he's supposed to be like so annoying and obnoxious, and he just nailed it. Every time he said something, I laughed, and I didn't want to be laughing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it works. Surprisingly, Guy Gardner brought to life.
All of the complaints when the movie dropped, they're like, why is it not Hale or Jon Stewart? It makes sense why it's Guy. He's serving a purpose for this reason. And like, I mean, I think he's got 2 of the best lines in the whole movie. So when Lois is trying to convince them and she's leaving, and he goes, yeah, he does that. He goes, of the cloth. That's a third one. But she's leaving and she goes, that haircut should be against your vows. He goes, that what? That what should be what? It's just like so, it's so good. And then obviously one of the climactic moments of the movie when he protects the kid holding the Superman flag. He goes, yeah, Superman's a little busy, so you got an upgrade. I'm sorry, that is so funny though. It's great.
Yeah.
It's really good.
It reminds me of, although not the greatest Marvel movie, some of the best moments of Avengers, like Ultron. When you just had the team trying to lift Thor's hammer, just shooting the shit. Like that's how.
Yes. It was
And
back
that's
when they,
what we loved about early Marvel movies. Oh, like Robert Downey Jr. Just like really, really good banter.
the banter in this movie was phenomenal. I also just really loved the portrayal of the Green Lantern powers and whatnot. And I was like, he's the lamest of the Green Lanterns. I cannot wait to see the others, dude.
And I don't know how much of this was troll fabricated drama, but apparently when the trailer came out and it showed his projections not coming directly from the ring, I guess some people online took issue with that. Like, that's not how it works. It's like,
It can work like that.
can relax.
There's
Just
no
like,
rules. Yeah.
Yeah. Chill out. Like,
People are annoying. I thought not my favorite of the side characters. I thought his portrayal was like everything he was saying was hilarious or annoying. Or like, you know what I mean? It was, oh God. And he fucking against the kaiju when they are going for the eyes and he creates that thing and it starts clunk, 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 and poking the eye. What? That's a hilarious moment. I couldn't believe it.
worked surprisingly well. So he will be in the HBO Lantern series.
So like I said, I think they're gonna connect a lot of the world.
Any final thought? Hall of Justice.
Hall of Justice. Between viewings, I was warned that there's a mural, and I only caught like a glimpse of it. Did you see
I've seen a
anyone that's on the
screenshot of
mural?
it.
You've seen
I've
it.
seen
Tell
a-
me.
yeah.
So I saw Jay Garrick.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure
I think it's
saw.
the Justice Society characters. I think I saw like a Wildcat in there. And some others, but I only saw it online. I didn't catch it in the moment.
That's fun.
But yeah, so a little bit of allusion to a history of metahumans.
You know what was so great is this, like, Marvel would have done a whole pan over a Flash, would have been an Easter egg where James Gunn is just treating it like you said, and it's just like a lived-in universe. This just is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
God,
Which
it's
is,
so good.
he knows the audience can keep up, and I think it's
He trusts the audience to keep
Yeah.
up. He doesn't spend time on something that is that's from whatever comic. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's there, but he doesn't like do a whole bit around it or like, oh yeah, that was the guys who founded the place. Like, you know what I mean? Marvel would have had
Yeah.
a scene explaining it.
Have you heard the murmurs online of like people thought there was going to be Robert Pattinson's The Batman making a cameo?
I didn't
Because
actually hear
there
that.
is
That
a
would have
pretty-
been nuts.
There is a very misleading musical cue in there right before the dictator goes into
I
the
know
pocket
what
universe, and it's like the Nirvana song, but
Sounds
like
like it.
a plucky string version of it. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh shit, is this actually gonna happen? I thought people were joking.
See, I didn't
So I was
know
like
that
looking
was
around
a
the
rumor.
corners and I thought Robert Pattinson, but interesting choice. Maybe he was just doing that to piss people off, which would be hilarious.
Oh my god, too funny.
well done.
Okay,
Either way.
okay. So Nathan, Nathan Fillion.
Let's talk about the.
I was gonna go to Metamorph.
Oh yeah.
What were you gonna
Metamorpho, and then I would say we should go Daily Planet crew
next? Let's do
next,
Metamorpho feels next.
Yeah.
Small role, but important role.
And they, important role, and they really visualized his powers in ways that I did not expect.
Dude, his fight scene was second to Mr. Terrific's. He, I think there was a version of this where people left confused by him or being like, I didn't like that, dude, or whatever. And they just nailed like the tragic hero. Like he's doing, he's like, oh my God. He's like, how do I, like,
There were bits that seemed silly.
okay, fill me in. What silly parts?
When his torso, the bottom half of his torso is a jetpack, and he's
That was
pulling
one
them
of
out
my favorite parts of it. That was awesome.
Yes, yeah. It was fun. It was cartoonish, which I love. Which is what I love.
That's why we're covering
it's
this.
Silver
That's
Age,
why we're covering this.
goofy, fun.
But
stuff.
that is Metamorpho. He can turn into any chemical, whatever. And so I really like that. I don't know if they'll probably call him Metamorpho later, but he called him Element Man in this.
the Element Man.
The Element Man. But now you've just saved like yourself a whole 2 minutes of explanation on what he does. You know what I'm saying?
This is Metamorpho. His power is to turn into elements.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
It's a nice way of just abbreviating.
Yes. Only James Gunn would take on this big of a weirdo for his biggest debut
Yeah.
project.
As a big Justice League 2000s animated series fan, man, what a payoff getting to see Metamorpho on the screen.
Yeah, it was really nice because I never in a million years, maybe he would appear in a TV show, but I never thought he'd appear in a movie, let alone a Superman movie. Like, that was crazy.
Again, a very Silver Age comics character, the Element Man.
It is.
They were coming up with some zany shit back then.
So let's talk about then this pocket dimension real quickly while we're talking about Metamorpho. His jail, where world
people?
leaders,
Yep.
yeah, they imprison political agitators, so no one will know.
Jealous ex-girlfriends, etc.
Just wrote a blog about him. Can you blame him?
Can't blame him. The Pocket Universe, I believe, was where they sort of first introduced in Peacemaker.
Maybe
A little bit.
You're really testing my memory.
His white supremacist dad would keep all like his arsenal and stuff. There's like a
That
random
sounds
closet.
right. That sounds
Or
right.
that's
That
where he
sounds
kept his
right.
helmets and stuff.
So what was fun about the pocket dimension is just the practical, like this was probably in the same room that Marvel shoots all of their things in. What's it called? The volume or whatever. And in Marvel, we've seen portals. It's just a portal in space. This had like some dimension to it. It was like a doorway more so. And
Yeah.
it just looked so much better. Everything about the movie. And I think this is the testament is the pocket dimension universe. Everything in this movie looked beautiful, visual effects wise.
I also think it's just such great shorthand. We get it. He says Pocket Universe. Okay, they're gonna get from A to B. We don't really have to dig into the mechanics. It's gonna create. It's gonna obviously there's
they
a
show
risk
it.
of pulling the universe apart.
They
Cool.
show it with Ultraman when he goes through the very first time. We understand. Oh, it can connect the beach to his office.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that was the first 5 minutes of the movie.
That's what I'm saying. They
He
show
trusts
it.
the
Dun,
audience.
dun,
Yeah,
dun,
yeah.
dun. Oh, okay, cool.
I enjoyed it. I feel like I've heard some reviews say like it felt silly or it looked like Rainbow Road when he was going down the river.
I thought a baby was gonna die, and people thought it was Rainbow Road. That's crazy, bro. I did for a minute think the baby was gonna die, just because like this one, it was alien, so I feel like James couldn't kill a human baby, but in a particle thing, I thought it could be the tragedy that motivates these two. Like midpoint of the movie, I was convinced that baby was about to die because I didn't think he could kill Crypto.
So I was a little off base with my prediction about the cut
You were,
scene.
I
but
actually think you were
close enough.
almost
baby,
spot
I
on.
don't think I could-
Besides the talking aspect.
I don't think I could have predicted the baby. So
I don't think
oh
you
well.
could have predicted the baby or
I'll
the
take it.
or Molly, being a prisoner
yeah.
playing
Oh.
Russian roulette. That was
That
crazy.
was
scene.
tragic.
Tragic, and it's just like Superman's worst fear. If that makes you know what I mean. Like Lex got to the core of what hurts him the most right fucking away.
That was tough, and it was a nice circle back moment at the end when
He wrote the
he
paper,
writes the article. The real
hero. Damn.
Well done, Clark Kent, ace journalist.
Ace journalist.
Speaking of, should we talk about the Daily Planet crew?
Yeah, let's go to the Daily Planet. Beck Bennett, Cat.
Why was he there?
What was Beck Bennett doing here, dude? That was
Just making some classist jokes about the Kents.
Yeah,
Said
bro.
something. I feel like he had like a couple throwaway comedic relief lines that I
He had
just,
a really good one
couldn't
where-
catch like in the viewing
moment.
experience. He said something about Penelope, like as he's evacuating. I was like, I don't know what you just said.
I think he was like trying to speak with his daughter. I wasn't 100%
yeah,
sure what
he
was
doesn't
going on
have
there.
custody. I don't know.
He doesn't have custody,
Unclear.
but his best line was when he was on the ship. He goes, "Why don't I have a seat?" That was great.
Yeah.
Because Lois does specifically say it seats 5, maybe 6, and then so they add the 6th person. It's really good.
So maybe he's a bit overkill as the comedic relief, or didn't have enough to do.
It
but
was a weird
I'm
balance.
happy he's there.
I wonder
I'm happy
if-
Beck Bennett is there.
I was happy Beck Bennett made it, but I wonder if there's more Daily Planet stuff that got cut, and we just, you know what I mean, for the
Probably.
final edit.
Yeah.
And then there's Kat, the actress Michaela. I don't know her name. Something. She's playing Chopper in the live action One Piece.
Oh.
The blonde, the buxom blonde at the
Okay.
Daily Planet. She is
So that's
Chopper.
good.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. She's the
Chopper.
voice of Chopper in the live
I
action One
won't be
Piece.
able
Crazy.
to watch One Piece live action the same though.
Crazy. So yeah, they were fine. Didn't add a whole lot.
I did enjoy Perry White's
Perry.
played by Wendell Pierce. His
Don't call me
don't call me
Captain."
Chief, kid.
Don't call me Chief. Yeah, he kept saying that. That was good.
That was
I
really
liked
funny.
it.
He was used pretty sparingly. I hope we get to see more of him, but I think Jimmy Olsen is probably the breakaway star of the Daily Planet crew.
Olsen. First off, you've heard Skylar Gisondo. Yeah, that's you got it right. You heard he thought he was auditioning for the role of Superman.
Yeah.
That's too funny.
I think he's in Righteous Gemstones. I've heard
He is. He's in Righteous Gemstones. He's in
was he in
Booksmart.
Booksmart? Okay,
Yeah,
that's where I've seen him.
That's where most people will recognize him from, I feel like.
Okay, but just looks like Jimmy Olsen.
Spot on cast. You couldn't have done a better Jimmy Olsen. What did you think of Jimmy Olsen being the Riz Master?
It was fun. Yeah, it's like they don't ever.
They don't.
I think it works because they don't address it, or like they don't feel the need to explain it, which gives it some more comedic value. But I like that it had a payoff at the end.
Yeah,
it had the payoff.
I thought it was absolutely unbelievably funny. So he is trying to get Lex Luthor's girlfriend to spill the deets, give him the dirty, and she just wants to be with Jimmy if she does this.
Yeah.
And anytime she's like, and we could be together, he takes the longest pause with his answer. He can't, he needs this so badly. He can't just be like, yeah, of course, sure. He goes, yeah. It's like it's real. I noticed it on my second viewing. He does it every time with her, and then at the end, he's like all weekend. It's really funny.
One of my favorite Jimmy Olsen moments is when he's about to publish the Luthor story at the very end while they're flying around in the T ship. Perry White's like, publish it, and then they show his laptop screen, and he's like going through the software, like ready for social, ready for. I was like, that's. Okay, that's attention to detail.
It's just so nice.
As a marketing professional,
that's how the journalists they feel. So I hope they felt represented. What I really liked about this, just the whole Daily Planet as a whole, it made journalism feel important again.
Yeah,
journalism has not felt important to me in a minute, unfortunately. It made it. I used to respect journalists. You know what I mean? I don't know I do anymore.
I think they get a lot of flack and not nearly enough thanks in this day and age. And I mean, true
the good ones.
I'm not talking about fucking talking heads saying super woke.
Super woke?
Gosh, I think they do it's a good portrayal. It captures the current media environment pretty well.
It does, while giving it an old school look.
Yeah. I even found the investigative thread that they go on more interesting than the bullet thing from Batman vs Superman or whatever.
Wow.
Side quest.
Oh,
Amy Adams was on. I don't know.
That's funny.
And here's the thing, and not to just bash on Zack Snyder, because I am a fan of those movies.
What we're here to do. Yeah.
I am a fan of those movies. It's just that it's just executed better.
Yeah.
There's a lot of overlap between the ideas and themes that are explored. It just comes down to the details and the execution. Zack Snyder had interesting ideas. Maybe couldn't pull them off as well, or wasn't well equipped enough to write them compellingly. So
yeah, I thought Jimmy was great though. Daily Planet. Should we then go to Lois?
Yeah. That feels like the natural place to go.
What did you think of Rachel Brosnahan's portrayal? She's great.
Oh, she was fantastic.
She was awesome.
I didn't even think, oh my God, this is Miss Maisel once. You know what I mean?
No, I didn't know. She didn't give me that at all. And she, how do I put this? This is so crazy in today's day and age with how many portrayals and representations are of these characters. She felt like a fresh Lois to me. She felt like a real person.
She felt like a real journalist.
She felt like a real person who cared about her real job with real stakes and ethics and morals. Like, I loved when she called out him for doing his own interview. She's like, that's highly unethical. And I thought about it for 10 seconds. I was like, that's not great to be interviewing your alter ego like that.
So that interview scene, I think that's the best portrayal, exaltation of journalistic work that we get in this movie. Also happens in the first 15 minutes of the movie. That was one of the preview clips, and I was like, man, if this is the meal they're serving as the appetizer as you're easing into it, I was like, where does it go from here? You know what I mean? That's why I was so excited in the first couple of minutes. Like, okay, they just covered 90% of the trailer. Like, what?
Yeah.
I have no more I don't know what to expect at this point.
Yeah. No, I think that our good friend of the podcast, Tommy Pizzulu, doesn't watch trailers anymore. And I think he is right to do that. If he's going to go see the movie, he doesn't watch the trailer. And I think he's actually right to do that in today's day and age. I told him after, I go, this is the one trailer I would genuinely be like, oh, I don't feel like he gave away much to any of the movie at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
He just gave a vibe. Oh, yeah.
Tommy ended up watching it already? Or
Yeah. He's seen it, love it. Everyone I know that's seen it, casual to super fan, has loved it. I haven't had a bad review, but when I went online, I did see some bad reviews, which I hated. That was crazy. I'll be honest, it was like such a disconnect because everyone I've talked to has loved it. And I saw some reviews that were like, just wasn't for fucking me. I fucking suck. I don't like happiness. And I was like, what is going on, bro? So wait, let's stick on Lois though, because I think what was so nice about this movie is she served so much purpose all around. Emotional growth for her and for Clark. She went and saved him from the Pocket Universe. She is the one that takes down Lex Luthor in the end. It is Lois that puts it all together and puts it out to the public, and it's the media that is the moment that Lex goes to jail and is stopped. Lois Lane is the one that finally stopped Lex. Superman took out Ultraman, the engineer. He closed the rift. He did all that. I'm not taking that away from him. But Lois took down Lex.
And synapses, connections, math flying across the screen. I did see Lois hold a lot of weight in this story. And I think that the best testament to that is a headline I've seen recently is that David Corenswet and Rachel Brosnahan were both paid the same compensation salary for their starring roles in this film, which is beautiful. I love that. In this... We talk about, you hear about equitable pay or like in media and like, I don't know that I've heard. This is probably the most prominent example we've ever heard of. Like,
but how do I put this?
Congratulations to Rachel Brosnahan.
I also don't feel like they're using it as like a marketing stunt or ploy.
Yeah,
they're just doing it.
I've just
heard
what I
mean?
that or I've read that somewhere.
Yes, which I just think is one great in today's day and age, but it's also emblematic of this movie that they were the 1 and 2. I feel like I think you could argue 1, 2, and there's a 1, 2, and 3.
Like
Lex is really it's hard to fully call her the 2, unfortunately, but she's right there with him if it's one of the two of them. And I think that, man, she just put on a masterclass of acting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Her just every scene she's in was just like 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
When even the corny parts where she's dumping way too much sugar into her thing, it's just the right amount of corny for me. I don't know. I like that stuff.
This is a corny movie, and that is its greatest quality.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Rachel Brosnahan is fantastic in this film.
Is fantastic.
What'd
you think about their chemistry? They had a fight, a reconciliation.
Magnetic.
Yeah.
Man, they're making out in that first... I was like, oh.
Yeah.
That's romantic.
He's like, you can interview me whenever. She goes, right now?
And then she switches right into journalist mode.
Right into journalist mode. And she's been ready to ask him these questions, which I really loved. She was like, I'm ready to actually interview Superman if you'll let me.
I think this is, again, what we've gotten away from in a lot of comic book media is like, ultimately, I think what makes this way more successful than a lot of comic book movies is like it's about those relationships in the end. It's about his relationship with Lois because they are about to break up right in the beginning. She's like, and it seems like almost like cliche or over like melodramatic. She's like, I knew this wasn't gonna work. She's like
dude,
grumbling.
but are you ready for this?
I love
that. It's the low stakes, high stakes that James Gunn is so good at doing. He can make the small things into, because like just how many times does he ask? He's like, what did you mean you knew this wasn't gonna work? Like it's so good, it's so realistic, it's so relatable. It's just like God, because he for a minute was thinking she meant the interview, and then her response was like, I told you I wasn't good at relationships. And it's like, that's like such a dagger, but it's such a realistic it so
seems
good.
So like
the writing
minuscule or like everyday or mundane. but I think it's very grounded in that way, and not grounded in a Nolan or the Batman kind of way, but like grounded in like real human stuff, which is like I've seen a lot of comparisons between this movie and the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies of like those really captured Peter Parker's interpersonal struggles really well, and like that's what I really loved about this one. And then apparently the Sam Raimi movies like pull out inspiration from the Donner movies, so like it's the circle
cool.
of life.
Well,
but yeah,
what I really liked about this is it isn't also just your classic double life struggle he's dealing with. It's so much more layered than that. They're like they feel like they're different on fundamental levels. She's punk and he's pop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're oil and water.
Yeah,
in a way.
It's like, can we make that work? And they do. Spoilers, they do, y'all.
And going back to that dimensional imp scene, like what I love is that this outlandish comic book world filled with superheroes and aliens and what have you is just the backdrop to this like relationship drama moment.
It's brilliant. It's straight out the pages of comic books. You know what I mean? It's straight out the page. It's straight out an episode of JLU. It's so good.
This is a Saturday morning cartoon, and
this was a 4-part series in JLU. They were like the Superman vs. Lex Part 3. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like this, it was because it involved the whole gang. You know what I mean? Everyone got a little piece of action. Everyone did, and so I know this is gonna sound crazy, but from Lois, should we just cover quickly Ma and Pa Kent?
Because she brings them back to the farm.
She brings them back to the farm. So what I really like. This is gonna sound crazy. I think 3 of the most powerful scenes of the movie, the interview in the beginning, the hot cocoa scene in front of the interdimensional imp, and back on the farm. I just think, like I was talking about the storytelling in 3s, like here's like one that I just was like, these are so good scenes. When you get back to the farm, she drives there's a little bit of humor and, he's like, the controls are intuitive, Mr. Terrific. Yeah. It's like, don't worry, you'll be able to fly this.
Yeah.
And then she's got Crypto on her lap and the dog won't move. So good. We haven't even touched on any of Crypto.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do that here after Ma and Pa.
We can do that when we talk about Superman.
Yeah.
David
Okay.
Corenswet.
Oh, true. Okay.
Yeah.
What did you think of this pretty different Ma and Pa Kent that we got?
I'm a little torn. I could probably benefit from another viewing. Like I feel like they weren't utilized that much, but then I was listening to another review today, and they're like, "Well, this isn't an origin story, so they won't have much to do," and so they really are. It's like the double-edged sword of like keeping up or James Gunn trusting us. Like we don't have to spend time doing flashbacks to get the importance of his sit-down conversation with Clark. So I would have loved to see more of them, but what I really
But can I interrupt, actually?
Like, you might.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you. Let me do this. There's the scene where he's calling him and Beck Bennett's roasting him, and it's like Ma and Pa. They're like, well, we haven't heard from you or seen you in a while. I really think a whole theme of this movie was him disconnecting a bit from them, as many people in their 20s do. They don't call their mom and dad back a few times, and so like they're worried about him and they're trying to get in contact. And there's the scene where after he's all over the news and there's like 22 missed calls from them. And so it served a different purpose than both sets of his parents served a very different purpose than we're used to, but it just hit on such an emotional core. Yeah. And it was so well done. And I think the reason they weren't much served is because in that moment, that was what he needed. It wasn't he needed to go train and get stronger and go lift planets and punch rocks to go beat Ultraman, and now he's stronger than him. He just needed to like find his way again and remember his reason. And so the paw scene, you big old mush, I think was just brilliant. And it's probably the first major moment I really teared up in the movie.
Yeah, I'm glad you interrupted me, because that was the point I was getting around to of like what I really liked was no, sincerely, is that it fleshed out that aspect of Clark. Like the fact that he's like not picking up their calls, like it makes Clark that much more human. Like he's a young adult, and it does establish that distance, I guess, which sort of fleshes out the Jor-El Lara storyline. Should we
let's talk about that now?
We get into Lex?
Yeah, let's talk about that, because Ma and Pa were super southern Kansas. I think that was the biggest difference. I think it worked beautifully, actually. I think it worked really well. I from the trailer thought they were just going to be like set piece, you know what I mean? but they
Yeah.
served such an emotional moment that was just beautiful.
Especially towards the end when he circles back with the home
Oh,
footage.
yeah, I mean, the final scene where he's like, he loves it when it soothes him when I play the message from his parents. And I mean, that scene, when we get to it, that is James Gunn's biggest strength as a storyteller.
Yeah.
That is how
He is pretty good at earnest sentimentality.
you said it, buddy.
As a
While still
now
staying
father,
punk. While still staying punk rock. He can
yeah.
Okay. Let's get into the message from his parents, because this is a huge part of the movie here.
Yeah.
Well,
First of all, what is his name? I can't
Bradley
even think
Cooper. They stuck me and Nikki goes, that's not Bradley Cooper. And I go, no, they're friends. I think it is Bradley Cooper. She goes, it's not Bradley Cooper. I was like, it is. We shook. We made a bet.
If you've seen remember Guardians of the Galaxy, babe? Okay, Bradley Cooper voices the raccoon.
He's the raccoon.
So they're friends.
All three of them, they're friends. He wouldn't do that for him if they weren't friends. So, and then she's famous too. I recognized her, but I'm actually blanking what from now. I'm sorry. Both famous, crazy cameo to start the film, basically.
That knocked my socks off.
That was nuts. And so Superman hears this first part of the message: go to Earth. The people there need your help. You can do good. Blah 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 blah. And Superman's, and this is what I really noticed on my second viewing. A couple times throughout the movie, he's very, this is why I do what I do. Yeah. This message right here is why I do what I do. Like, this is what I was sent here to do. It's what my parents want me to do, so I'm going to do it. And then he comes to find out. And so the turn, a big twist in the movie, is Luthor steals the clip, fleshes it out fully, gets it translated in a very short amount of time, and blasts out the rest of the message. Now tell me, I've just set the scene.
And so he repairs the message, and in essence, the rest of it implies that by serving them, establishing goodwill, he'll be able to rule over them as king, as God.
They're feeble-minded. Yeah. Take lots of wives.
A secret harem.
Dude, I can't. That part killed me. The secret harem becoming such a, I think he likes Bolivian women the most. That shit was...
That's how the news cycle goes.
It's unbelievable. Everyone's a pedophile. Like, I'm not saying everyone's not, but like...
The cabal, a secret cabal.
The harem. And okay. Sorry. The commentary. This was written 3 years ago. Let's remember. That's what's also fucking crazy. Yeah. What did you think of the message? It's a very different take on Jor-El than we're used to.
I don't take an issue with it. I was like, oh, that's an interesting choice.
Did you think it was faked?
I feel like maybe I was looking for a little more confirmation, but again, they moved pretty briskly, and then they have a couple characters say the lines like, it's been confirmed.
It's
and
real.
Mr. Tripp
It's been
is
confirmed.
Like, it's real. I was like, okay, I guess that's fine. That's fine.
The first viewing thought it was fake, if I'm being honest, but on my second viewing, I noticed they go out of their way to say a lot of times. Like Lex in the Pocket universe, when he has no reason to lie, says, oh, it's not fake, it's real.
And I want to come back to the meta conversation of it all. There's a lot of discourse about how this is faithful or unfaithful. Like, people take issue with this narrative change. And it's like, okay, but this is what this movie is doing.
This is this story.
So either you're going to suspend your disbelief of this flying man in red and blue
because it was
tights,
never in a comic page,
or you're not. Like, I'm sorry, it's not what you wanted it to be. Like, either you're going to consume the story and evaluate it on its own merits, or you're going to have a stick up your ass and just disagree with the concept, which is like, get out of here. And that's so much of a fandom, which really, really annoys me.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Well, that kaiju has never been in a Superman cartoon before or comic. I don't know why they were.
It's in this movie.
This
is our Jor-El.
I think on my second rewatch, also, I think it has to be real because this is the conflict for Superman in the movie. His reason for doing what he's been doing is crashed and shattered all of a sudden. It's not what he was supposed to be doing. That's not what his parents want to do. Going back to Pa Kent, he says, parents ain't for telling their kids what to do. We're supposed to give you the tools and you make fools of yourself. And I'm wiping tears away at this point.
Yeah.
And he's right. Like, Clark, what you thought the message says so much more about you.
Which you could apply to this movie. Your reaction to this and how you choose to
See it.
Yeah, to see it or accept it in its state of how it is.
They're characters that have
Says
been dead
more
for
about you than
20
it does.
years.
Yeah.
Like it really doesn't impact the story moving forward in a drastically different way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
What I think is interesting about it, though, as a narrative choice, is that it kneecaps future Invincible adaptations. The Boys, like the evil Superman thing. Superman
Superman
was
was supposed to be evil, and he chose not to.
Which I think is so funny, because Invincible is going to come out live action adaptation sometime. Like,
oh gosh, it is very Viltr. Your task is Viltrumite-esque. But I think it's a subversion, but it's also a commentary of, like, all these dark Superman stories are the version of Superman that does give into this. But this is all about Superman's choices. It was his choice when he first heard the tape to go become Superman. And now that the tape's fake, it's his choice to still represent good and just himself and doing the right thing, as he so tried to explain to Lois in that interview.
I love that Bradley Cooper
I thought it was a good twist. I do think it would be nice to somehow confirm it a bit more, because I do think a lot of people probably left being like, oh, I think it might be fake still. But I truly don't think that at this point.
I think it's neither here nor there. You know what I mean?
At this point, I don't think it is ever going to come up really again. I don't think we'll see Bradley Cooper. I'll be honest. I think I think Bradley Cooper was also supposed to be a friendly face to disarm us, to be like, oh, we love Jor-El. You know what I mean?
James Gunn is thinking a couple steps ahead.
He's so good. Okay.
That was such a nice. That's up there for cameos or Easter eggs. Like,
it's good. It's really good.
Seeing Bradley Cooper there.
All right, let's talk about Lex Luthor.
What I think is so great about this casting is that Nicholas Hoult was the runner-up for the Superman role.
I know.
So he gets to channel all that fury and rage into his portrayal of Lex.
Do you think we saw all his fury and rage on the screen?
He's shaking. He's got veins bulging out of his head. He does fantastic. I really enjoyed this Lex.
I think his best line of the whole series was 1A, 1A, 1A. That shit killed me. He's just saying 1A, but you can hear and feel in his portrayal how much he wants this.
Yeah.
I think, this is my hot take, I think Nicholas Hoult did the best job in the movie. I think Lex was so over the top, but yet still so grounded and realistic. His hater visor that he was wearing was somehow driving him insane, but also just so realistic at the same time. You understand it without having it to be this tragic, oh, Superman's actions killed my parents. He feels like he's the smartest and richest person on the planet, and it should be his honor and privilege to be the highest being on this earth. But there's this alien that is here, and everyone's talking about him. And he says, nothing has felt right since he first showed up. He can be sniveling and snivy, yet still smart and brilliant and cunning. I think Nicholas Hoult absolutely killed his performance. 11 out of 10. He was such a great point of the movie for me.
He does two things much better than Jesse Eisenberg did in the role.
Yeah.
No hate, no shade, but I think
some of it was the Jesse Eisenberg direction they were trying to go in, but go on.
Because, like, character motivation's very similar.
Yes.
I guess playing the same character, so why wouldn't they be? But, like, you get that Lex is very menacing with the pocket universe stuff. He's imprisoning people.
He's the Hammer of Bolivia.
He's incredibly smart, which I don't think we get from the Jolly Rancher scene in Batman vs. Superman.
I'm dead.
I don't know. He works very well. Is he the best in this film of the cast? I don't know. I don't know if I don't know. They all do fantastic.
I'll be honest. I
called for a different type of performance, and I think he really delivered on it.
I think he was up there with Paul Dano as the Riddler. Genuinely think he was up there as Heath Ledger as the Joker. I genuinely think this is one of the best performances. This is the Lex Luthor I know, billionaire-ified for today's day and age. Does that make sense?
Sure.
He's on the talk show. He stands up. He goes, I'm scared, ladies and gentlemen. I'm afraid. I can admit that. Like, he's so
smug asshole weasel. Yeah, he does a lot of things well.
He's
I don't
posturing.
know that I put him in the Heath Ledger class.
When he,
but...
I just think I think he was a fantastic. Yeah, when he comes in, going, "Where's the dog, Luther?" And he goes, "What dog?" And then he has the coffee mug. He goes, "Ugly dog with a stupid cape." Dude, it's so funny. That is so funny.
It's very funny, and childish is not the right word, but it's playful. This movie is playful with
it's
a wink
a little
and a nudge,
childish.
and it is all. And this goes back to, this is a pop movie. It's not the most sophisticated script in the world. It's not the most sophisticated film in the world, but it just is firing on all cylinders.
The other amazing part, he goes, Superman goes, "You're driven by envy, Luther." He goes, "I'm not dim. I know that my every move is driven by jealousy." That was where I go, that is 100% hater mode. You know that you're jealous and you're still just you're going full force for it. And I just think that is Lex Luthor. He was unwavering. He gathered people around him that wanted the same thing as him, that dedicated their bodies to this project. He went as far as to clone the very thing he seeks to destroy. He's like, well, now I'm gonna. He created the same. Like, it's just like, can't you see the hypocrisy, Lex? No, because he's so blinded by his rage and hate.
So what did you think of the Ultraman reveal? I was off base with my prediction that it was just going to be Metamorpho in the suit, which is totally fine. I
knew it was going to be either him from a different, maybe this pocket dimension. Oh, there was a soup. I knew it was something like that. But I will say both. I went with Nikki and Brendan. Both of them were very surprised, and they both loved it. Brendan said, "I'm so trained by Marvel that this was going to be like Henry Cavill or like a big, like a huge named actor unveiling a mask." And he goes, "The fact that it was just him," he goes, "I was shook." I loved it. I thought it was good. I think I like that it wasn't the whole focal point of the movie. James Gunn is really good at, like, this for all intents and purposes is a whole Superman story by itself. And he was just like, "No, that's just part of the story." Yeah. I love it. I love it.
I like that it could potentially, it leaves room for a couple things. It's a dumber clone, so Bizarro potentially.
Oh, and he flew into the black hole? That actually makes so much sense.
Or hear me out. Dumb clone. So what do? Your next go around, you mix in your own DNA of a super genius Lex Luthor, and you get Superboy. I think that's where, get his bald ass to Belle Reeve. It was so good. And then Lex Luthor's girlfriend, you could argue she's the real Lex's own anger is what his downfall is she goes, "But if I send you these, we'll spend the whole weekend together, right, Jimmy?" It's really good. It's really good. Okay, well, Lex, any thoughts? Crazy. What do you want to say about Nicholas Hoult? Anything else before we Phenomenal
move on?
Portrayal. I don't know that I would put him in the upper echelons of superhero villainy.
Wait till you watch it again.
It was fantastic.
Just kidding. I'm not going to start doing that. Well, you've only seen it once. No. No, okay. I appreciate that. You heard my thoughts. I think he was unbelievable. I loved that, once again, we're in a super comic booky feeling movie. I love that he was able to go so over the top, but he still kept it so grounded. He goes, "I'm not killing you to start the war in Bolivia. I started the war in Bolivia to kill you, so I'd have an excuse to kill you." I just love it. I love everything about it, if I'm being honest. So we could do it. I won't spend too much time. We can move on to the man of the hour.
David Corenswet. A year ago, I could not see past Henry Cavill as Superman, and man, David Corenswet, he's him, man. He is
him.
Just, I don't know, his big goofy grin at the end. Looking up at old home videos, it put a smile on my face, and that's what this.
James Gunn didn't go looking for the biggest, buffest, ripped guy with brown hair, whatever eyes. Yeah. He said, "I need someone who's going to make that big, hunky, buff man relatable and funny and realistic, and because it was all about his human side is what makes him super.
I would love to know. I feel like there's a couple of interviews where he might have touched on it, but I think David Corenswet talks a little bit about his audition process for the role and how his approach to it was like to play Superman as the cornball, who is like golly gee and like great
What
Scott,
the
and
hey?
like yeah, which people gave him a lot of guff for online.
So,
But it works in the movie. Like that's Superman is a cornball. He's pop.
nailed all of that so well. I had to, at 2 different points, explain to both Nikki and Brendan a little. Brendan was mad he didn't want to kill the kaiju. He was like, what the hell? Like, come on. And I was like, no. That is Superman. That is him to a T. He's not going to do that. And then the other one was Nikki. While she liked it, she was like, why is he saving a squirrel during this fight? And I go, that is Superman. But then Nikki, this was a moment like it was almost like seeing someone like see Christ for the first time. It's when they're trying to drive away on the bridge and the building is falling on them. And he stops and he saves it and he's holding it and it's falling and it's just the one car and she finally drives off. And Nikki, like, under her breath goes, he did all that for one person? I was like, he'll always do all that for one person. And he flies up from the dust, and it's this beautiful fucking shot.
I mean, credit to James Gunn for writing it, but David Corenswet does a fantastic job. And I think the most brilliant touches of it, we even saw in some of the clips they released before, the interview scene with Lois. Where when you get to see the full scene play out, it's fantastic. But he agrees to do the interview, and he's like, "All right, let's do it, Cronkite." And she says, "Superman asks a question." He leans in. He's the lean-in guy. His posture changes. He hunches forward, and his voice deepens. Lois, or whatever the fuck he says.
Yeah.
Yes. And I was like, that you see in his body language, it changes instantly. And I don't know, maybe there's probably other actors who would have made that creative choice or whatever, but like he does it so well.
The switch. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I think that, just to be clear, I think he was number 2. I think he nailed his portrayal of Superman. I'm not saying he's like, he was like 4 or 5 on the list for me. No, he was number 2. I think this, for me, has been what's missing for Superman, for me to like full on be like, oh, I'm a huge Superman fan. Like I said, I really started to enjoy Superman watching My Adventures with Superman, and not saying this is like, oh, they're exactly the same or whatever, but a lot of the similar vibes of a Superman starting out, the emotions, the thoughts, the going through the process, the steps, the legal battles, the jurisdiction, all that jazz. It was so fun to watch David portray, like, people were gonna die. Like, it's such a corny line that he delivers with just such sincerity. He matches that sincere tone, that Gunn we were talking about before, while keeping it like realistic and positive and hopeful. And obviously we could touch on a million times how much Superman represents hope and peace, but like the way James chose to portray it here was amazing, with the 2 conflicts happening at the same time. And I was like on the edge of my seat, like, oh my God, what's going to happen? He's getting his ass kicked by Ultraman. Like, the war is happening. And it was about just that flag waving in the air. All the heroes watching it were like, God, I know I need to stay out of this, but I know that if he could be there, he would. And because it's the right thing to do. And so they step up. Metamorpho, Green Lantern, Hawkgirl. It was such a choice I didn't see coming, but that Superman makes the other superheroes want to be better too.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And he was able to just portray it so, like I said, sincerely and well. And that's part of a good Superman thing, is where the people around him, like, don't trust that sincerity. They doubt that sincerity. And I think...
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah, that's sort of the theme of the movie, is like, we are so cynical that someone just being very forthcoming with, hey, I just want to help people out. Like,
what's your motivation? What's your angle, bro?
And so in that way, this is a very optimistic movie. If I had any qualms with this movie, I would have loved to see more Clark Kent in civilian clothes.
Yeah.
Doing his thing.
Once again, I think Daily Planet, I think some of that got cut. Not saying understandably or not. I just imagine there was probably a bit more there, the way they fleshed it all out.
So in the kitchen scene with Lois at the beginning, He's like, it's just fun when he's like, how about that banter we had today? Like, we really had him going. Like,
He goes, that was fun.
you really got to stop interviewing yourself.
Yeah, she's like, you have to stop. I wasn't giving you guff. I actually think this is not cool.
That's the stuff that makes this world feel so lived in. It's like,
and it feels really fun and great. And one thing that was really great is he goes, we had our first date 3 months ago, just sticking with that, the three. I was like, that's so, okay.
We also don't get a gratuitous shirtless shot of Superman in this movie. But
No
we
fan service.
We do get feet when he's at the Ken farm.
Oh my God. I was like, what are you talking? Okay. So
for you
our
freaks
good friend
out there.
Tommy of the podcast brought up to me that what was so great about this portrayal is Lex and Superman are like so driven by similar things, but taking like different approaches. Like it's really a good look of like in D&D, like the lawful evil versus like lawful good. And it's just very a fun take seeing, how they're like two sides of the same coin.
Man, David Corenswet.
Let's talk about crypto because I think this was one of the most humanizing elements of the film. I, in a million years, never could have guessed that the dog wouldn't listen to him. I know that sounds so weird and lame. I was like, is this just gonna be his dog flying sidekick that like, go get him, boy? Like, I was like, that's kind of weird and corny. The dog not listening to him or the robots, brilliant. That is such a relatable human issue. Like, how do I get this damn dog to listen to me?
The fact that James Gunn could make crypto work deserves a standing ovation.
Where's the dog,
incredible.
Luther?
I would have, I think.
And this didn't turn into like John Wick. It was only a little John Wick.
Yeah, only a little John Wick. I think my favorite, the part at times you could maybe make the argument that crypto, like there's too much crypto or it's too distracting, but like the part that really sold it for me is the dimensional MC, and he's talking to Lois and he's like, yeah, he's not even a very good dog at that. He's like, I gotta go save him. And it's like,
I have the line. He says, she goes, you're going for the dog? Yeah. Or she's like, he's just a dog. Yeah. And he's not even a really good one, but he's out there alone and probably scared. Oh, that's the first moment I teared up.
Yeah.
I teared up. I go,
Superman.
that is such a goddamn brilliant line. Yeah. He's not even a really good one, but he's out there alone and scared.
And that encapsulates David Corenswet's Superman, I think. And
it's so good. And then the twist, which I don't know, cameo. It's not his dog. It's Supergirl's dog. And we see Millie Alcock at the end.
Alcock, yeah.
Alcock.
From House of Dragon.
House of Dragons. And then she's in a Netflix movie or show right now that's really popular with Julianne Moore.
Yeah.
I loved it. What did you think of this?
I was not expecting that.
Not expecting it.
That is the next theatrical release
from
the DCU. It'll be directed by Craig Gillespie, who I think directed I, Tonya.
He did.
And something else I'm forgetting. But it's based on a comic run called Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow.
Yep.
I haven't read it, so I have no idea where it's going to go. I'm excited. She's a drunkard. She's partying.
She's a party girl.
But yeah, what an interesting introduction to the character.
When the dog starts throwing her around and she loves it, and they're like, well, that's why he has issues. I'm telling you, it's just so funny. And this is another thing. I've tried not to compare, Snyderverse, Marvel, but to me, what I love about this is this was a clear setup for that movie. But Marvel, it's like a post-credit scene, or like I like this still served a small purpose in the crypto of it all. Like it was tied, and it was in the movie. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
I also like I don't know how to put it. It was just different. It wasn't like a setup for setup's sake. It feels like
I've seen people talking about it online, how the post-credit scenes were all nothing burgers, is like
it was
phenomenal.
A little disappointing. I'm gonna lie, but I think it was on
nice.
purpose. I think it was on purpose.
But more credit to the Gun. It's like the important stuff is in the movie. It's
everything
before the credits
you need
roll.
is in
what
the
you
film.
need is there. So I like that.
I know this film was a success because Nikki is excited to go see Supergirl in a year from now.
Heck yeah.
That's
well done. Bravo.
Huge
Bravo,
win.
James Gunn.
Huge win. 2-3 days later, she's like sending me memes and reels, and I was like, this This is what we've been waiting for. We did it.
did.
We got
did
here.
it. All right, babe. Now you got to watch Man of Steel.
We got to compare the two now. No, I have to keep the record clean. Otherwise,
Yeah.
it'll end. No, but I just think, and then I also think between that, we're supposed to get Damon Lindelof's Lanterns.
Wait, Damon Lindelof is doing Lanterns?
He is creating Lanterns on HBO, formerly Max, in early 2026. We've already got promo shots. No trailer yet, but
Yeah.
we've seen
Aaron
footage.
Pierre, Kyle Chandler. Is that
Yes.
Kyle
Yep.
Chandler?
Yeah.
I didn't know Damon Lindelof is. Am I thinking of the right guy?
Oh,
The
you're
Watchmen
thinking of the
series?
Watchmen,
Lost?
Leftovers,
Okay,
Lost.
now I'm way more excited for that series. Not that I wasn't not excited.
It's like a mystery. It's gonna be like
Yeah.
True Detective. They said True-esque. Dude.
Okay, now I'm hyped.
Dude. Come on.
You just blew my.
I'm so glad I could do this live, dude.
I'm
tell
gonna
me.
start fighting Snyder Bros.
We're
I
gonna.
don't
Hey,
even
where's
care.
your
I'm just
address? We're
hyped.
gonna fist fight. Let's go.
That's awesome. That's
That's
I'm
a
excited.
huge snag. That's a huge. Marvel would never.
Marvel would never. Although I did see something that apparently.
Although I watched
before-
Ironheart and I really enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie.
To be fair,
Yeah.
I saw something online. Apparently, Zaslav had approached Kevin Feige with like a blank check to be like, please fix DC before they hired James Gunn.
I believe it. I saw an interview though that when James Gunn broke the news to Kevin Feige goes, "Please tell me you're not making Superman." And he goes, "Yeah, I am making Superman."
Good on James.
Yeah.
Even that subtle dig, and I know he probably didn't mean it as a dig of saying like there was a time 10 years ago when seeing two characters side by side show up was a novelty, but like he just has a lot of clarity about like, hey, let's just make a good story, and I think that is what makes this movie is a success. It is not concerned with telling a superhero story, really.
Well said.
At its core, it's just telling a good story. The things,
Not an
if you
origin
boil it
story.
down,
Yeah.
these are just stories about good versus evil, not time travel, not
Pocket
parallel
universes.
dimensions.
Yeah.
It's just about good versus evil.
Yeah.
And wanting to do good, or it's a story about a relationship and learning to trust one another. You know, when you come from these different backgrounds, if you look at the Lois Clark relationship, or it's a parent and kid, adopted family, found family story. Like these are the stories. We've gotten away from that in comic book media, where it's like, oh, this is going to be about parallel dimensions, or oh, this is even the
multiverse.
earlier Marvel stuff, Phase 1, Phase 2. Ant-Man was like a heist movie. It was a simpler thing. It wasn't about Ant-Man. It's an awesome heist movie. Like
They
there was
moved away
there's
from
a
that.
central driving thing for each one. What is Captain America Brave New
Spy
World?
thrillers. Oh,
Okay.
not Brave.
Yeah,
Oh, excuse
you know-
me. The old ones were. Yes, they've
Yeah.
really gotten away from that. Where everything now is a superhero film. It's not.
Yeah.
Oh, this one was a spy film, and I get what you're saying.
As the kids are saying on TikTok, the gun don't jam.
Let's give our review, our final thoughts, or do we want
What's
to
your-
read some letter?
What's your favorite moment? What's your favorite moment? We can look at some reviews
Yeah,
before we
okay,
give our
okay.
final thoughts.
My favorite moment of the whole film. That's actually really tough, if I'm being honest. What do you have yours off the top of your head? Give me a second to think.
Maybe not of the film, but my favorite, like the part that lit me up the most as like a child, like my inner child, was Superman does a tornado whirlwind move to shake off some dudes in the suits at the end. I was like that is so silly, and that is Saturday morning cartoons
Yeah, that was really good.
to a T. And that's not even like the close when he's flying up with the engineer going, nanites all over his
Dive
body,
bombs, yeah.
and he's just problem solving on the fly. Like that felt so Superman to me. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yes.
I don't know what he's doing. He's just trying to problem solve.
He's just
in the moment.
trying something, and Lex couldn't figure it out either. They're like, is he trying to use friction? Maybe,
Yeah.
but you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
I agree. It was really well done. He doesn't have all the answers, all the solutions. He's figuring it out. James Gunn did a really good job of making him not like he didn't nerf Superman, but he made the stakes still feel real all the time, which is just so good.
Superman's getting his ass handed to him this whole movie. He's
Whole
not
movie.
winning for most of it.
No, it's awesome if I'm being honest. And it makes sense because it's Ultraman at the end. I actually think Laugh at me if you want. Outside the moment at the end where he's watching the home videos of Ma and Pa, because I think that actually is my actual favorite moment. I think my favorite moment during the movie where I lit up, and you are gonna laugh, is when Metamorpho is in the pocket dimension and he starts bubbling, and they're like, "Oh, what are you gonna do? Splash us?" He goes, "Yes, with hydrochloric acid," and they that killed me. I was like, that is so Metamorpho. I loved that so much. That was great. And then even when he wraps all the hands around him and he jet fuels out of the black hole, I loved it. I loved it.
It was silly. It was awesome. It was cartoonish. I enjoyed every bit of this movie. Should we let's do some letterbox reviews before
Let's do that before we give ours.
Any other moments you loved?
God, there was, I loved so many moments. It's hard to, like, the Mr. Terrific fight was a real big highlight.
Just the fact that probably his second or third most used superpower in this movie is his super breath. Like over
so
his
funny.
Vision,
James Gunn is like, you don't ever see people use that super breath enough. One of my friends said, I loved when he had to blow himself out of the black hole. And he goes, I didn't mean it like that.
It's quintessential Silver Rage, though.
So good.
Which I fucking love. All right. I think we got to talk about the number one most popular review on Letterboxd of this movie, if my tab will load.
I have it. 5 stars. Oh my God. Call me Gal Gadot the way I don't know how to act right now. Got him.
She's catching a lot of strays.
She's catching a lot of heat after this film.
4.5 stars. Zack Snyder's Superman found dead in a ditch. Will this film be able to escape the Zack Snyder conversation?
No. Maybe. So what? They have a 10-year plan. I think the DCU as a whole could eventually escape the Snyderverse conversation, but it is not going to be in year 1, 2, 3. You know what I'm saying?
It's an unfortunate shadow that hangs over all of it. As much as I personally enjoy those movies, I know
it's just like the new Fantastic Four movie is always going to get compared to the 2002 version. Like it's just the unfortunate nature of the business.
And that's the unfortunate part of this movie in particular. Like, I'm reading a review, 4 stars, finally a Superman that acts like he was raised by the Kents and not by the devil himself. I'm looking at you, Zack Snyder. It's like
his Superman was not like evil. That's like we've gone so far from the point of what is the difference between the two.
You didn't agree with a creative choice that he made. That does not negate the narrative reality of that story.
Let's be honest, too. It's not a huge change. It is a change to Superman, but not a huge one by any means.
I do think, to this movie's credit, we do get to see some semblance of like Clark Kent, a separation between Clark Kent and Superman. Whereas like in the Snyder movies, I'm doing the thing myself. The Snyder movies, it's you mostly just get Kal-El, in some form.
That's such a good point, though. He is Kal-El on Earth when he's Henry Cavill, at least. So someone said 1A, 1A, 1A to all the Luther cultists, said in the unison in Real Steel. Nicholas Hoult, take a bow, King. I could feel the hatred and vitriol through my screen. Even better, he teeters on camp as an absolute malice or maniacal force. No, they chose him. Let them die. He stole the show. This is a 5-star review, not by me.
A 5-star, all caps. Hashtag unload the gun. Hashtag cock that gun. Hashtag held that gunpoint. People are about it, man.
I mean, so what's the general score? I didn't even look at it. It's
I think it's 4.0. 4.0.
And that's probably with some review bombing. Not a lot, though. I really don't think it's getting as review bombed as I was very nervous it was going to get. And you know what?
Same.
I'm just so 4 out of 5 stars is what Letterboxd as a whole has given it. Do you feel ready to give your closing thoughts and your score here?
For the longest time, I could not relate to the experience of being so jazzed. Star Wars movies, I did not, I watched the movies when I was younger. Star Wars movies, Donner Superman movies, stuff like that. When people would talk about like these were transformative movies, they just look like old movies to me. You know what I mean?
I do.
I don't like, so it was hard for me to be like, to view those things through that lens. And this movie finally made me understand the Christopher Reeve Donner Superman hype, the reverence for those movies. People were clapping before the movie started. There's like the Superman comic animation where he opens the thing, flips to the DC logo. Someone clapped at that. People were clapping in this movie. People were cheering in this movie. I laughed out loud a couple of times. Like, this was a movie for the theaters.
Yes.
And it made me feel hope. It made me feel joy. It was corny. It was on the nose with its themes. It was sincere, though. As simplistic as it is, it firmly believes in the message it's conveying. This may be my recency bias. This might be my favorite superhero movie of all time. Yeah. I felt similarly when I saw the Batman. Like, I just walked out of the theater after this one with a stupid grin on my face. The last shot of David Corenswet in the chair smiling at his home videos. That's how I felt leaving the theater. All that said, it's not the best movie ever, you know? Maybe the storytelling's a little crowded at times or like a little frenetic, whatever. I'm comfortable giving it a 4 out of 5.
Okay.
I love the movie. You know?
Yes.
But that's a fantastic score.
Oh, no, I know. I love it. I loved the review. I think some things that you touched on that are really nice is that this isn't a perfect movie, but I can't sit here and honestly tell you what wasn't perfect about it, if that makes sense. But I can recognize there will be people that walk out and we're like, yeah, I liked it. Or there will be people that walked out and were like, it was fine. I just have a hard time people sincerely hating the film, though, if that makes sense. So for me, I walked into this movie with high hopes and I left with a feeling of, I wish I was more of a Superman fan when I was like, I've been missing out all these years. This movie made me feel hopeful, joyful, like you did. It made me feel emotions. It made me want to come home and hug my cat and kiss her a bunch and hug my wife and just try to be a better person than I was yesterday. And I know this is corny, but our fraternity's motto was like to better the man. And I used to like really like embody that spirit. And I left feeling a bit of that again. And it's just a nice driving force and a reminder when life can bog you down, all the negativity, that sometimes all that the people around you need is a source of joy and light themselves for that spark to catch. And so I think this quite possibly could be James Gunn's best movie. I think the only contender would be Guardians of the Galaxy 3, if I'm being honest. I think there is a contender that this could be DC's best movie. I haven't felt this way since The Batman or since The Dark Knight. If someone said, Brendan left the theater and said behind Spider-Verse, this is his favorite superhero movie. If people are calling this their favorite, I would high five them and say, hell yeah, it's in my top 3 or whatever. Like, I respect it so much. I think that it is just what we need in the landscape of superhero stories. Not an origin story, not a whole reboot of the universe, even though it is like, while it accomplished those things, that was not its purpose. It was just a Superman story about good and evil, him versus Lex and his relationship with Lois. And it's just like a back to basics, which is just so Superman coded. I'm actually going 4.5 out of 5. I think the movie is just phenomenal. I saw it twice. I would see it a third time. I'm going to see it the day it comes out on streaming. I can't wait for Lanterns. I can't wait for Supergirl. The DC is back. We're no longer in the DCE eulogy era. We are in the DCU rising era. And I'm just so thrilled to be here. I mean, we podcasted about this like 3 years ago now when the announcement came out. And here we are now. And like 3 years of hype can really dull you going, or like really can almost ruin a movie experience, and it didn't for this. I was tempted to give it a 4.75, but like I said, for just, it's not 5 out of 5 best whatever, but like it's right there. It's right fucking there.
You know what? I can go up to a 4.5. I don't have a good reason for it to be a 4 versus a 4.5. It is it's
just shy of that 5 out of 5. But
it's a fantastic
it's
theater
terrific.
experience.
Excuse me. It's terrific.
It's terrific. God damn it. I had a thought that escapes me now, but yeah, it's just like optimism shot directly into your veins, which
we need.
This was the thought.
We need that.
whether they intend to or not, a lot of times the best of these comic book movies are a response to the times. So, if Henry Cavill's Zack Snyder's Superman Man of Steel is a response to a backlash to the Brandon Routh optimism, which was a continuation of the Donner films.
Pendulum.
It was a more gritty, it was more cynical, perhaps.
It was like the
movie.
calm between the storm, like the 2008 recession and then 2016.
Yeah.
And now that
Yeah.
things are bad, we need that optimism more than ever.
Like more than
this movie, I think it would have been really interesting to see the reception to this movie had it come out 10 years ago. It could have been totally different. You know what I mean?
I think it would have just been considered corny.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that would have been the end of the conversation. It was like, man, that is so refreshing right now.
It's
It
so
is
refreshing.
so refreshing.
All right. 2 questions for you before we wrap up.
Yeah.
Can you see Robert Pattinson and Corenswet?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. That's all. That's
I
all.
need
I
it
do
now.
too. I do.
I know.
We
They'd
can't
be
get our hopes up though. We
fantastic.
can't get our
We
hopes
can't
up
get our
though.
hopes up.
So me too. But we'll leave that at that. This is maybe a bad way to end the podcast. Which do you think is better, Superman or the Batman?
So difficult.
I know.
I
I've actually been mulling it over because I think the recency bias make it a little hard for me, and they're so different. But what I respect about both of them is they're obviously so different, but they're character coded. They're made by someone who understands just the essence of that character.
Yeah. Oh man, I do love the Batman, but at times it is difficult to sit myself down for 3 hours at a time.
The 2
So I
hours
might
of
have
this
to
was-
give it.
Yeah.
it to
I
Corenswet.
think I wouldn't hate people putting this one above it. I think I might still rank Batman a little higher, but I also have more reverence for that character, so it could be
Sure.
that. But if someone was to say, "Oh, the Superman was way better," I wouldn't like. Hey, you know what? That's a fair opinion. I'm not gonna fight you because I loved it. I'm gonna watch it many times. You know, if we're talking strict rewatchability, it probably has more rewatchability than the Batman. Like you said, the Batman's a task.
It's tough. Yeah. I got
You do it
probably
in
3/4
twos.
of the way through.
What
the
you do
movie.
is you split it in half. There's like a mark. I don't know what it is, but there's a good point.
it's when Alfred gets blown up. That's about where I paused.
Oh, Mr. Wayne, it already happened.
Oh,
That's
dagger.
bad. That's a dagger.
Dagger.
Cool.
Before we wrap up,
Yeah.
any speculation on where the Superman story could go? There's been some controversy or discourse around the costume, the trunks, but I'm more concerned with what does James Gunn mean with his choice of the Superman emblem, the one that you have on your chest right now, the Kingdom Come-esque version. Do you think that has any story implications for what James Gunn wants to do, or?
I think we might have gotten a hint towards it or something. I think, and I saw this in an interview, he goes, we see 1 million Superman movies and properties about why he's super. I wanted to make a movie more about the man side of Superman. And so, like, him being an alien is so secondary in the story aspect that I could see us maybe exploring all of that and Jor-El and Zod. And but I feel like this, for the time being, we're going to see Superman mostly on Earth, dealing with Earth problems. I don't know what that's going to look like. Maybe he'll be in Supergirl in some aspect. I mean, I got to believe he'll be in Supergirl in some aspect.
What do you hope to see out of a Superman direct sequel? Maybe that's a better question.
Superman 2. I would love to see Brainiac. I think Brainiac is one of...
need a Brainiac,
I think James Gunn could handle Brainiac really well and interesting after... Man, I love how James Gunn does villains because I think the Guardians of the Galaxy 3, I'm blanking on his name, so maybe it's not that good. I think he's one of the best villains that Marvel's ever had. So I think he is interested, or I think James Gunn is really good at like layered villains. And so I think Brainiac's a good one. But that could actually be Supergirl's villain. I know in the comics they've kind of shifted because in the future she's dating Brainiac 5.
Brainiac 5, Legion of Superheroes. That would be cool.
Dude, I think we're going to get... See, I genuinely think we're going to get, like, bits or lots of all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Which will be... I think Supergirl is going to take us directly into space.
I
He
think
alludes to
it's
it a
going to be.
little bit.
I think we will see her and Superman on Earth explaining why she's leaving, and I think that'll be like the last we see of her on Earth, or maybe that'll be a flashback. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That actually seems more likely to me now.
Yeah, I don't know. Brainiac is a good one. That's probably what I would have said if I had to pick a villain for 2. What I don't want to see is Zod again. What I don't want to see is Doomsday or Death of Superman.
Sure.
I feel like we've seen enough of that in animation. We've seen it on the big screen now. I just
What do you think the next real thing we see him in is Superman 2, like with like a substantial part? Or are they still making this Authority movie? I feel like he could be in somehow, like not as a main lead, but as
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know.
I would hope we get a direct sequel because that was.
I mean, do you want that to be your next Corenswet project, or do you want him to have a part in Peacemaker, or do you want him to have a part in? That's what I'm asking.
Maybe Supergirl, but I would rather just a direct sequel.
What about like Lanterns? Would you want him to show up in that at all, or you want it to be more? Okay, no, I'm just no wrong answers. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
I think I'm okay with it every so often. I don't think it can be every project, but if they pick and choose it well, I'm okay with it. Like Peacemaker popping up in this, definitely a bit corny
nice.
to like James Gunn bringing his guy in, but like it worked so well. It worked
yeah.
so well.
It did. Man, this movie was awesome.
Even Nikki thought the thing was hilarious. You know what I mean? Like she was like, "Was that John Cena?" I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "That was so funny."
So she's a fan of the movie?
She loved it. She really liked it. I mean, to me, that like speaks so volumes because Nikki's a big movie person, and a lot of superhero movies just haven't caught her. She really liked the Batman. She loved Eternals. She likes the Spider-Man stuff.
Yeah.
But like most of them, she zones out for, honestly.
Yeah.
No offense. I'm not saying this in a bad way. I'm just
for sure. Yeah. Haley's.
I know she's gonna listen, so I don't want her to think I'm like talking trash.
Yeah.
Because I'm not.
Most movies I've taken to her to, she hasn't been able to get behind. X-Men First Class was one she enjoyed.
Oh, I remember.
She didn't care for, but yeah, didn't get to watch this one with her because
when it comes out though on streaming, you'll have to let me know what she thinks.
I will. I definitely will. I don't know if we got any news.
No, this isn't a news. This doesn't feel like this is not the news. Yeah, this is
the 30-minute preamble to this as well.
This has been your total depth recap. We probably missed something still because that's just how we cover things. Movie was phenomenal. Go see it if you fucking go see it again.
I don't think I can convey how good this movie made me feel. If you see the poster, the one Trump unfortunately besmirched.
Shut up.
But if you see the poster of David Corenswet, it's like the blurry motion blur kind of thing going on. Him looking up, it's bright. That's how I feel. Like
when I was leaving the
I am
theater,
ascending. Like,
you know what's so corny?
It is.
I'm not a big like flight as a superpower guy. God damn it! If this movie didn't make me want to just be able to fucking boom up in the air.
I think it was the engineer scene when he's dive bombs with her.
So good. Like, or when he's like, "Hey, up
badass.
here," and he's like trying to take the fire away from the city. God, it's so good, so good. Okay, let's wrap this up. Do you have anything else to say before I take us out of here?
Go see this movie and go watch it in theaters.
Yeah, it's a theater movie.
On the biggest screen you can. It's
awesome. I want to see it on IMAX if I can, but I'm probably not going to be able to. My honeymoon's coming.
Warner Bros is on a bit of a hot streak.
They're doing
the last couple. This movie, Dune 2, Sinners was Warner Brothers, right?
I don't quote me. I don't know. That'd be crazy. I'll be honest.
But yeah,
look, if you loved this long rambling episode of Two Dudes, go check out. We have a whole 2-part series of the Batman. If you liked this, you will love that. Go listen to that. We have a ton more episodes. You can find them on Apple, Spotify, and on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Two Dudes Watch Cartoons, and just rate, review, and thanks for being here. We appreciate it.
Yeah, that'll do it for this episode of Two Dudes Watch Cartoons. We will catch you next time.
Two Dudes Watch Cartoons.
God damn it.